Hi, everyone. My name is Cassandra Williamson, and this is the Midday Muster. Yeah, it's a new show program, whatever you want to call it, that I'm doing. I'm going to try to make sure I can do it every day at around midday sometime. It'll vary. Some days I'm going to be on the road. I can't do it, but it'll always be advertised. Okay, so again, thank you for attending. For everyone who has been watching and paying attention and reading all the blogs and all that since the first of the year, roughly, then thank you so much. I appreciate it. All those who have subscribed and all those who have participated in this in some way or the other, I do appreciate you. And I do thank you very much for being here. With that, I do want to just drop out this screen and put myself up there. So there we go. So this is the Midday Muster. So what's the Midday Muster all about? Well, this is an opportunity for us to kind of chat and, just carry on a conversation, basically. Even though at this point in time, it's just through my streaming service. So the streaming part of it is actually just, I can bring up to 10 people on under the current pay plan. So if I add someone into it, you're more than welcome to come on. We could do a point counterpoint kind of thing. But one of the things I wanted to do was, kind of use this as a means to engage with our veterans, engage with people around the country on multiple topics. Okay, not just have a monologue, but I'd love to have people come on board and sit in the opposite chair or sit around like, 2 or 3 people around a table and actually carrying on a conversation. That's the idea. That's what we want to try to do. That's what I'm trying to do anyway. So I hope I can do that through this format with Midday Muster. So this morning, a friend notified me that a couple other friends have decided that I'm losing it. Cassandra's losing it. Oh no, she's losing it. What's going on? No, I'm just trying to be honest as much as I can with everybody. And I'm not trying to offend or hurt anyone's feelings. That is not the means of it. But, I will. And I will tell you whether or not what you're doing is actually doing something that's helpful to the overall community or to our nation in general. I will tell you if it is. And if it's not, I'll be honest about it. I'm not going to hide or walk on eggshells around a bunch of different topics that are potentially divisive. I will have a conversation about them. So just be aware that if anyone's watching at this point in time, I thank you again. Appreciate it. But there is so much going on in the world around us today. I kind of envision this program as being me trying to pick it up like, Mark Levin does over on Fox News. Starts out with that calm, monotonous voice. Everything's just fine. We're going to have a conversation today about this topic here. And before you know it, he's way up here in the loud stratosphere with his voice yelling at people. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I don't know if I can sustain it or not. But anyway, the whole idea of the daily muster or the midday muster, this little thing here that I'm calling Midday Muster right now with Cassandra Williamson. That's the logo that I created last night or yesterday or I forget when. I've been at a lot of different things going on. But the Midday Muster is just about people getting together and having a point counterpoint kind of conversation. We can bring in up to 10 people on the panel, as I said earlier in the show, up to 10. I don't want that many people. That's too many heads talking for a 30-minute period. So I'm looking at 2 or 3. And I don't want people who are just there to agree with me on everything either. But yes, support is good. But, part of the problem that any community faces is that we began to police our ideologies. Police those people who come into our communities, not realizing that it's the challenge of diverse views that actually makes you stronger. You cannot sustain yourself and your organization over a period of time if all you do is just the same old thing. You don't go outside that box and you stay there. If you stay there in that box inside your silo and you're never challenged, true, you may survive, you may thrive inside there, but you will never be sustainable. You have to have other things and people coming in to talk with you about things. And there's viewpoint diversity in that. Okay. And I am not afraid. No one should be afraid of that. You should welcome viewpoint diversity. You should welcome other opinions on things. And if you're stymieing that kind of stuff, if you're shutting it down, if you're pretending that only yours is the right way, and that's the only way you can do things, then you've got a problem. And I'll tell you that. Yeah, you can tell me whatever you want to. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. You know, it just doesn't matter to me. But what does matter is telling people or showing people how to get through all of this stuff. There are some good things that have been going on over the past few months since Donald Trump became president. There are some good things. And some of the people out there are wanting me to say things like, everything he does is wrong, but that's not the case. That is not the case. That's not being honest. It might be party purist, but I don't really care. I don't really care whether or not the purism sticks in and people stick with a particular ideology and they don't deviate from that, and you don't challenge thinking, and you don't tell people the truth or being honest with them about what they're doing and how things are coming across and the impact they're having on themselves and their community and the nation. Yeah, there's a lot going on that we could have a conversation about around all of it. Okay. So that's what this is. I'd love to have, like I said earlier, 2, 3 people, extra people. I can bring it up to 10, but I'm going to cut it off at 3, just so people can come in and have a conversation, like sitting around the white couch or sitting around, like 5 at 5 or whatever, those kind of dialogues where we are not shutting out people with different views and we are not arrogantly suppressing their opinions. We're welcoming them in and having that conversation and agreeing that sometimes we're going to disagree. But we don't have to talk down to people. We don't have to talk up to anyone. It's all on a level playing field, folks. That's what the Midday Muster is going to be all about. Now, there are times when this show will not be available in the midday because, like I mentioned earlier, there are some events coming up that I have to go out of town for. My granddaughter is graduating in the whole other state of Texas. So I'm going down to Killeen, Texas, towards the end of May to be down there for a graduation. For her, absolutely won't miss it. So picking up my daughter down in Alabama, maybe both of my daughters in Alabama, I don't know, I hope. And the idea is to be able to go out and, go be there for my granddaughter's graduation. And it's really challenging. For me, it's been a really difficult thing to address because sometimes, there were times in the past where I couldn't be at graduations for my own kids, and it sucked. And I couldn't do it. And I've always felt bad about that. I apologized to my kids for it. I'm saying, look, I'm sorry I couldn't be there. Oh, I'm just so sorry I couldn't be there for that. For big events in their lives. But I'm retired now. Well, except for this and the path forward at 6 p.m. tonight, every weeknight. So I'm retired now. And, but I do have other responsibilities here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. That's where I'm located, right here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky in Hardy, Kentucky, in Pike County, which is right along Belfry, Kentucky's here, South Williamson, Kentucky, and then right across the river is Williamson, West Virginia, where I was born. And I tell everyone, if you're asking, the city was not named for my kids or grandkids. It was named for distant cousins, yes, from way back when. And the first mayor was a Williamson, first or second or third, maybe a couple times. But I do know this, that right now the city of Williamson needs the Williamsons to come back in and straighten it out because it is a freaking mess. Jeez. Oh, whew. Yes, it is. We'll talk about that a different day. But some of the local stuff I'll cover, some of the national stuff I'll cover, the international stuff, yes. And one thing that stood out, now I'm going to jump into the international stuff because when I mentioned that word, it was like, hey, there's something we should talk about. So what do y'all think about the president or the Israeli cabinet voting to assume total control over Gaza? What do you think about that? Put it down in the chat. Some of you are here. You have access to chat. If you're just watching, kind of perusing through, doing a drive-by of my shows, There are a lot of people doing drive-bys. I know that they don't click on it, so it doesn't show up in my count totals. But there are people who are doing drive-by of the shows. Drop in, put in a comment in there. What is your opinion about the Israel's move to assume total control of Gaza? Well, my opinion? Okay. Well, my opinion is this. They have every right to. They have every right to do that. Why? Well, because one, they're a sovereign nation that has to protect their people and their territory from attack and from outside influences or outside BS. Okay. And Hamas, an organization that is terrorist, is a terrorist organization. It's underpinned by Iran. And the people of Gaza, the Palestinians who live there, have not chosen to put aside Hamas. They still operate with Hamas there in their territory. If they would rise up and kick out Hamas and get rid of them, it'd be a totally different story then. But right now, Hamas is still active there, and the Palestinians are doing nothing about it. Some want to, I've heard some want to, but right now, Israel has every right to go in there and reassume control over it. They had control of it up until 2005 when they thought and believed that the new people coming in were going to actually help in Gaza, were actually going to help the Palestinian people. Instead, as soon as they got into power, the first thing they wanted to do was go bomb Israel into oblivion. Why? Because they don't think Israel has a right to exist. They think they, with their ideologies, are superior to Israel. No, they're not superior. They're not less than, but they're not superior either. So they want to wipe off the face of the earth Israel and all the Jewish people. And I'm going to tell you, that's not going to fly by with me. And all these people who are protesting in support of Palestine, I understand the thing that motivates that. The thing that motivates it, by the way, is that you've got this minority population who has experienced suffering and antagonism and rough times in their lives and over a period of number of decades and maybe centuries even. You got this group who has experienced this. These minority populations, they're so small relative to the larger outside population that there's a kinship that each has with the others simply because of the fact that they're a minority. And that's where they gain their strength, by associating with others. And the kind of right, but there's a problem with that. You have to know when to draw the line. And that line with Hamas is not it. Now, you can stand for the Palestinian people all you want. I love the Palestinian people. I've got family who are Palestinian, by the way. I've got family who are Lebanese, by the way. Yes, we do. But if any of them are, supporting Hamas or any other terrorist organization in the Middle East or anywhere in the world, then no, not going to support that. What else came around? Let me see. I already mentioned a couple of stuff like that. If you haven't been over on the website, go check it out. Let me put up a share screen here really quickly. We're going to go to Windows, go here. And for those who don't know, I've updated the website quite a bit. And there's going to be additions to it as I go along. There's a lot of improvements I'm working on with this, but this is the front page of it right now. And you can see what I'm talking about. That's the front page. It has the path forward on here. I've got to go in and add in the midday muster to make sure that that's part of this as well. But that's a simple things to add in. Next thing up here, click on the menu button. You've got several buttons: the home, a research page, about, videos, blogs, subscribe, support our work, and plans and pricing. Okay, so research is only accessible through a paid subscription. It's not very much a month. There's a lot of stuff there. About covers, well, when it pops up, there you go. Meet me. And that's very brief. I've got a little button to work on down here at the bottom. But let's go over to, you got some videos here. And if you wanted to watch all of our videos or wanted to watch even this program, you can catch it over here on our video page. Now, right now, this was the path forward last night at 6. This is a recording on YouTube. That's the image I used to kind of capture attention with that one. And you can see these are different shows that I've had, just a few of them actually. On this page, but you can go over on YouTube and find all of them over there. That, yeah, they're all there. So that's the menu of the videos. Now this section I'm going to put in also the muster, the midday muster program. You'll be able to see that live on the website as well. And if you go to the menu again, we go to the blog section, and this is where many of you have found us and you do us with through the blog post. And again, like I said before, do greatly appreciate it. Blog post. This one talks about the news summary over the weekend, like from yesterday and the weekend. DEI, transgender, military, and obviously beyond the surface, unpacking that atrocious gender dysphoria among adolescents. That study, they didn't even release the authors' names of that study. Or an academic paper of any repute, the authors' names would have been there, and it would have been peer reviewed. And obviously, thing gets reviewed is I don't know, on social media and at the Atlantic, places like that. Not a peer review, folks. That's not an academic review at all. It doesn't qualify. It barely qualifies as anything of interest to anyone. But yet, HHS is going to be using this report that they generated, and this is my analysis of it over here, by the way. If you go to that right here, click on that thing, go through there and read all of that, and talk and understand where I'm coming from on it. There's a lot to it. They use the crazy cast review out of the UK, which was another report that didn't do anything worse. They don't even rely on the people who are actually in the community. They don't rely on the specialists. They don't ask questions. What the heck are they of? One, we know more about us than they do. Yeah, we know more about us than they do. Oh, goodness. And that's another one, a scoop on that one. Understanding conservative stance on transgender rights. Yes, Trump's first 100 days. Spoil system. Yeah, this is what we have going on. This is a blog post over here, the spoil system. They call this meritocracy. That's what they want to return to, is some form of meritocracy. They want to put people in place who deserve it, who have proven themselves, and not based on any kind of other characteristic of that person, which is fine. And that's always been the case, by the way. It's just, it's not that cut and dry. It's much more nuanced. But what they're doing now in the federal government, what Trump is trying to do, is he doesn't care about meritocracy. You think he does? You've got another thing coming, folks. He does not care about meritocracy. He only cares about the spoil system, which we had in this country from Andrew Jackson on up, probably before that, but I do know it started big time with Andrew Jackson. And you put in the people you want in places of power so that they will do exactly what you want, and you can trust them because they're beholden to you. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is. That's a spoil system. Put my cousin's uncle's aunt over there. And that way, I've got people in places, in high places. Yep. That's what the spoil system is. And that's what Trump's doing. If he gets Schedule F reinstated, the one that he's tried to do at the end of his first term, if he gets Schedule F reinstated, he will clean the clock, at least with 50,000 federal employees who will be shifted from being protected to being at will, hired at will. Yeah, they'll be gone. You got to prove your loyalty to this man, Trump, and that is it. And there's all kinds of those, by the way. You can read down through there. There's a whole bunch of them. All right, so rather than belabor that point, subscribe, support our work. Now, research section, I can click on it and I can show you what's in there and how it all works, because my other page, my other browser on my other screen over here, I'm in it. So, but you can't access it unless you go through the paywall to get there. The research part, let me load up research. I'll show you how it works. There's a screen here that just says research and in-depth analyses. And that's basically what this is. I'll look at different things, different points, different things that I'm thinking about, different suggestions that come to me. I'll definitely take time to do that too. But that's what's in all of this. The first one here is what motivates President Trump. And that is a very deep analysis. It's psychoanalytic in a lot of ways. It hasn't been peer reviewed, but it's definitely very in depth. So if you want to read that, go over there. It's through a paid wall. We'll get there. And what motivates President Trump? Well, I can tell you, it's probably not what you think it is, or maybe it is. President Trump isn't motivated by patriotism. He isn't motivated by spirituality or faith. He isn't motivated by any of those things. The thing that motivates President Trump is winning at any cost. Now, most people would say winning at all costs, but winning at any cost is what Trump believes and has operated his businesses that way. You can see how many times he hasn't paid people, because the any cost part means, hey, if he can get it done and you don't have to, and he doesn't have to pay you, that's the way it's going to work, folks. But then you got media sentiment analysis. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's, 11, 12, 13 of these. And I keep adding more to it. And these are more in-depth. Some of these are media analyses, and you can see the topic or area in the middle. This is rebuttal research there, media research, genetics and epigenetics, psychology of Trump, historical analysis, pro-Palestinian sentiment on college campuses, all those kind of things. You can see them over there if you want to go see them. Okay, that's the whole point. But the midday muster is to bring everyone together and to, let me see who's up here at the top. Oh, got it. So basically, that's what that's all about. Stop sharing right there and go back over. There we are. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. It has been 23 minutes of me just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. But midday, like I said before, come out anytime you want. Share the word about it. Let everybody know we're here. We want to talk with people. We want to engage with you. We don't care what opinion you might have or what view you may hold. You're welcome to come here and challenge me, and I can challenge you. And that's just the way it works, folks. That's how you get the best out of things, isn't it? And to do it in a collegial way, to do it in a friendly way, okay, without taking a hammer to each other's head and saying, we don't accept you, we don't even listen to you. It's like some people, I'm going to tell you this real thing. I've seen some people over on, like the White House, in their signature blocks, they wouldn't even bother talking to them. How ridiculous is that? Those people are showing that they are either in the community or they're someone who you can talk to. Hey, I don't put pronouns in mine right now, or maybe in some places I do. I don't know. Different depends. It depends. But you're not going to talk to them because they have pronouns in there. Look, Matt Walsh said the same thing. I think Christopher Rufo said something like that. All these different pontificators out there. We got so much we can talk about, folks. And I'd love to have that conversation with you. And I appreciate you and thank you for spending some time with me from the holler of Eastern Kentucky. Thank you and have a great rest of your afternoon. See you at